I'm here today with Mr. Jabu Mabuza, CEO of Tsogo Sun Group and Chairman of South African Tourism. The Tsogo Sun Group is a hotel, gaming, and entertainment company with operations throughout Africa, the Middle East, and Seychelles. The group's operations are held mainly through two wholly owned subsidiaries, Tsogo Sun Gaming, that's the gambling type of gaming, representing those interests throughout Africa, Southern Africa, and Southern Sun Hotels, representing its hotel interests with 89 properties in the Southern Hemisphere with some 14,000 rooms. And it also owns the Sandton Convention Center, the premier facility of its type in Johannesburg. South Africa hosted a very successful World Cup last year. What does it look like will come through as a legacy of it for South Africa's people, economy, and for your hotel group and for your business?
Charles, thanks for those kind words. Indeed, we are proud of what we've managed to stage. The people of our country, our government, did pull it together against all odds. Nobody gave us the chance to do it, but we did. The most important thing to my mind is a country that has got so many social challenges that are in dire need of ever diminishing resources, whether it's our education, our health, our supply of basic amenities like water, the infrastructure. To choose to spend those billions of rands on the World Cup did seem a bit wasteful, but I knew, South Africans knew that we needed to stage an event like that. Firstly, it gave us the opportunity to have this big billboard that the whole world now knows, that there is a country in the southern tip of this dark continent called Africa that is thriving. There is a country that has got infrastructure that's working. There is a country that has got one of the best financial systems. The financial systems of the leading economies of the world have been caught wanting. The financial system of South Africa is still standing where it was before 2008. So this legacy, in my view, was everybody now knows not only that there's a country that works, there's a country that can do things, but there is also a country that can host any mega event of this size. We've hosted the Rugby World Cup, we've hosted the Cricket World Cup, we've hosted the African Cup of Nations, we've now hosted the biggest of them all.
Tsogo Sun Gaming and Hotel Group have continued to do pretty well. I understand due to the demand generated by a good economy, growth of international arrivals, and limited capacity. What's ahead? Is this condition going to continue?
Look, on the hotel side, before and on the shoulders of the World Cup, there was not much business. The World Cup itself, because in the main centers where the games were played, Southern Sun is being very well represented, and most of our hotels were contracted to FIFA for that. So we managed to do well in those. But post that, August was perhaps one of our most difficult trading months. We are now starting to see the return of corporate and government business, and a bit of the STO and some of the leisure business, the GNC type of business. But we also had to contend with some capacity that came in. There are people that build hotels. When you look at a city like Cape Town, I think there is a bit of an oversupply, and one would have to wait for these to wash themselves out. And these things don't wash themselves out just by a wish. The buildings are there, as long as the building is there, somebody would accommodate the very scarce number of patrons. And the fight is going to be on rates. So is the nature of this business. We are now a listed company. We have, through a reverse listing, acquired a company called Gold Reef that had 7 casinos. So we now have 14 casinos. And I'm pleased to say we are a touch shy of being one of the top 40 companies on the Joburg Stock Exchange, having some 16,000 people working for our group. So the future really looks good. And having reached this point, I personally have announced my retirement end of September. The successor is Marcel von Olok, a 38-year-old youngster who's worked with me for the last 10 years. Dreamt everything that we've done together on the strategy of where the company is going. So I have no doubt in my mind the company is in the right place.
Turning back to talk about South Africa, well, of course, the last few years it had enjoyed a 10% growth or thereabouts. I understand to drive future tourism growth, South Africa Tourism is targeting African markets, namely Angola, Congo, Kenya, and Nigeria. I'm curious what kind of tourism products these visitors seek, which might be different than the domestic and international visitors you serve now.
I think we have been affected by the global recession because it affects our source market, Europe and North America. So those are the people that were affected, and they are our source markets. So we cannot continue to grow the way we wanted to grow. So that called on us to look for alternative markets, but also as an African country, we have charity does begin at home. So we had to start, and we've started this about 4 years ago, working on our Africa and our domestic strategy. There is, over the years, South Africa has always been part of the South African custom unions, where countries like Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, Namibia belong to the same monetary place. So there's been a lot of trade and relationships that have been maintained. So there's been a lot of traffic between those countries and South Africa. We have now decided we've got to go outside of those countries like Angola that are working with our businesses in South Africa. Our country is committed to playing in the region. We are members of BRICS now, but we only have 50 million consumers. So we've got to start to look at the region where you've got 200 million consumers, that then we can be of consequence at BRICS. So the work that has to be done there's cooperation between South African rail company Transnet and those countries. There is cooperation between Eskom in South Africa and those countries. So the trade between those countries has increased, and necessarily the traffic and the cultural integration. So we have looked at countries like Angola, like Nigeria, like the Democratic Republic for growth. Those countries have also been people that have been coming to our country for a variety of reasons. And they range from shopping to medical and any and everything in between. We do have a big population coming from these various countries that are neighboring our country. I think for now we really need to once more consolidate and look into the other markets, whilst we try and hold on to our traditional markets of Europe. We need to start growing our new markets like China, like India, and indeed like South America. So these are some of the projects we're working on.
What opportunities are there in South Africa for companies to invest or individuals to live in? I have some friends who moved there and love it.
Look, there can be no better place than South Africa to live in. The great climate, great fauna and flora, but more importantly, great people. great culture, a nation that has understood that it exists because others do exist. We've got this notion of Ubuntu in South Africa that says, I am because you are. Literally translated, that's what it means. I am because you are. So that is, to me, something that you don't find in many parts of the world. But from an investment opportunity, we do still have a lot of minerals in our country. We still continue to export most of those. There are opportunities to invest in downstream beneficiations of those. And we still have a lot of gaps between the haves and the have-nots. So those offer opportunities. We still need to skill our people. We need to skill our people starting from the educational level, but also we need to skill them in other industries that are in the new technologies that the world require. And indeed, the new consumers that are coming in, they are into the social networks. We need to be attuned to those things and understand that the consumer has got more power now in their hands.